Hello, hello, hello. And welcome back to the 33rd. No, I think that's a weird word, but welcome back to the 33rd episode of the Nifty Cauldron podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Milan, and joined by my lovely host, as usual.
Kelly, but also, why is 33 weird for you? 33rd?
33rd? I don't know. It's a language thing, I guess. I don't know. Just feels weird.
I can see maybe why you would feel that way because of the hard, there's a hard D in it, right? 33rd.
Yeah.
And you technically pronounce your D's as THs most of the time.
No, other way around. I pronounce my THs as D's. So I said 33rd pretty much, right? not as extreme.
Ooh, that was it. You're right. At the same time, dirty dirt does sound fucking dumb.
Yeah, if you enjoyed the 33rd, remember to leave a like, hit that bell after you subscribe, and if you want to catch our live content, the Twitch links are down below. We live stream too.
Yeah.
But yeah, for today, we actually came prepared, and we're going to talk about our video game 3x3s. So
yeah, which I also have never even. Okay, so first things first, I've never had to do a video game 3x3. I've only ever done an anime 3x3 because anime is love, anime is life, just like Shrek. So this is my first time doing a video game 3x3, and I was pretty decisive with my picks, but now that I'm just stating with it, now that I'm letting them marinate, I still feel solid about my picks, but also I don't know. If at the end we have some space for some honorable mentions, maybe we do, but if not, whatever. If you're gonna be an asshole about it and not let me do it, that's fine too, you little shit.
Yeah, so I guess for the people who don't know what a 3x3 is, it'll be on the screen momentarily, but it's basically we decided to do a 3x3 image of your favorite video games. It doesn't have to be all-time favorites. It could be very nostalgic ones that you hold dear memories, or that you just think back on, or that you've just sunk countless hours into. The only real caveat we had was one per series, right? So you couldn't have fucking 9 different Pokemon games. Yeah, I fucking love Pokemon, bro. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and you also couldn't have every single fucking Final Fantasy on your list. You had
exactly
to,
right. So you had to hard pick one, which made some decisions for me a little bit harder.
Yeah, I'm looking at your pick and I'm side-eyeing it.
I mean,
not gonna lie, bro.
We'll get to mine later. Do you want to quickly go over yours?
Sure. I can definitely do that. First things first, mine were almost 100% nostalgia driven. There are a few of my favorites of all times on my list. I would say there are 3 specifically, but maybe 4. I don't know. Either way, most of mine is just based straight up on nostalgia because I don't know. I'm a very nostalgia driven person. I'm very sentimental. I hold on to things that I have an emotional connection to way longer than I should, including people. Oh, damn, depression. So let's go over my 3x3. Bruh, if you have been to literally a single one of my stream, I will find a way to talk about Grandia 2 because I fucking love Grandia 2. It is one of the pivotal fucking games of my entire life. I always stand on my soapbox and I start screaming in the club about Grandia 2, and I usually find some way to work it into a stream for some fucking reason. I'm obsessed. Pokemon Red, Power Stone 2, Dragon Age Origins, Guilty Gear X2, Final Fantasy 12, Mass Effect 2, Dynasty Warriors 3, and Harvest Moon Back to Nature were my picks. What are yours? Everybody knows Suikoden 2.
Well, we'll get to mine later. So to me, the 2 that stand out as a little bit unusual are Pokemon Red and Dynasty Warriors 3. Dynasty Warriors 3 I can kind of get the more I think about it, but Pokemon Red is a little bit of a surprise to me.
Bruh, I had so many good memories with Pokemon Red. Specifically Pokemon Red, bruh.
Yeah, I guess that's the weird one to me, that it's specifically Pokemon Red and not let's say Leaf Green or something, or any, a remake or a newer version, or even Yellow. Because you don't really play Pokemon either, right? Like nowadays.
Nowadays, I don't really make a lot of time for Pokemon, unfortunately. I just am like basically too fucking busy. But the street cred that I had on Pokemon Red was some good ass shit. So basically, I got Pokemon Red, and Sister Grimora got Pokemon Blue. And when I had Pokemon Red, I had the old school, shitty, clunky fucking Game Boy, right? The big brick, right?
Yeah, because that was the only one that was out at the time when Red released.
And so one of the reasons why I wasn't really, like, I was into Pokemon Yellow a lot. However, Grimora got Pokemon Yellow, and I had to wait until she was done with it to play. So that's why Pokemon Yellow isn't that high up there for me. But I pretty much played the shit out of Red while she was playing Yellow still. And so I eventually got, like the slimmer Game Boy, the Game Boy Pocket.
Yeah, Pocket and then Color, and then SP Advanced. I think that's the line.
I think I also got a Color later on too. But I think what happened was that my friend got a Pocket. He got a Game Boy Pocket, and so he gave me his old brick Game Boy. So I was using that to play Pokemon Red. And then eventually, I got a Pocket, or was it a Color? I forget. But either way, I got one eventually, and I was able to get the little light. Like you click in with the light, and then the little fucking shit would light your screen up because it wasn't backlit.
So you didn't have to like get the humongous extensions for the brick Game Boy, like fucking extra apparatuses, so you could see. Oh my god, I remember.
No, I got the tiny light.
Yeah, but like or for the original brick Game Boy, you could buy like a set that had like a magnifying glass,
I did
and
have
like
that.
a light.
I did have that.
It was a monstrosity, dude.
I did have the magnifying glass, and then I got the mini pin light, and then the magnifying glass, and it was lime green. I remember it being fucking lime green. So I played the shit out of Red because Grimora is playing Yellow. And with Pokemon Red, I basically sunk so many fucking so many fucking hours into Pokemon Red, where I had a level 100 Golduck.
Oh, the Golduck story.
Yeah. So my level 100 Golduck was like strong as fuck. I taught it like basically a series of beams. So he just knew like a fuck ton of beams, right? So he would just beam motherfuckers for the most part. And so when I was in school, you could battle people over the link cable, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, we're going to fucking battle over the link cable. And I had like a pretty strong team. Like I had like a Lapras, I had a Jolteon, I had my starter, I picked Bulbasaur because Bulbasaur's number one.
Bulbasaur's number one, duh.
There's a reason why Bulbasaur is fucking Pokemon number one, bitch. Respect. So obviously I had a Venusaur, and then I forget who else was on my team. Oh, I had a Zapdos, and then I had this level 100 Golduck, and the level 100 Golduck was like the last bastion, and no motherfucker ever beat me on the playground because my level 100 fucking Golduck that knew beams. And so people would get to my last Pokemon. The choice few would get to my last Pokemon being like, oh, it's the last one. We're safe. And then it's like, surprise, bitch, level 100 Golduck that just knows beams. And then I would just beam them the fuck down. So I loved Pokemon Red, and I had like hella playground street cred because of my level 100 Golduck.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That is why Pokemon Red's on the list, dude.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your list, I'm not really surprised by anything. I kind of knew these were your games.
Because you've known me since the dawn of time?
Yeah. Like, maybe Harvest Moon? Like, why is that your favorite?
Bro, specifically Harvest Moon Back to Nature. So, one of the games, so when we got a PlayStation 1 for Christmas from my dad, my papa. It said it was from Santa, but like, bitch, we knew Santa wasn't real and shit. Also, redacted for kids that are listening to this podcast. Santa is real.
Don't listen to this podcast if you're a child.
Don't listen to this podcast. You are old enough. Especially with the episode with Joey. Don't listen to that one. Okay, moving on. So, on PlayStation 1, when we first got our PlayStation 1, I believe we got Final Fantasy VII and like we had Final Fantasy 7. My dad had Diablo 1, and Harvest Moon was like our third game that we had on that. And it's because my cousin had a Neo Geo Pocket, if you're familiar with the Neo Geo Pocket, and I was trying to play the Harvest Moon game at my cousin's house, but it was in Japanese, so I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But I was just like, I want to play this game. And so my dad got Harvest Moon Back to Nature for me, because he knew I was like obsessed with that farming game. I kept talking about it all the time, and I wanted to play it, but it was in Japanese, so I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So then he found out that there was a farming game for the PlayStation 1, and he bought it for me. And so he brought it home, and I was really stoked about it, because I was like, yes, now I can fucking play farming games. So now for Jen was on the PlayStation 1. She was always playing Final Fantasy 7. But like, I eventually did go and start playing Final Fantasy 7, but that wasn't until a later date. And Final Fantasy 7 is one of like a title that is near and dear to me. But it got beat out by Final Fantasy 12 just because of the sheer amount of hours that I put into fucking 12. So I'll be talking about 12 because I love it, and not 7, even though I do love 7 a lot. 7 is probably up there for one of my favorites, but my pure nostalgia of just 12 is just so good. Anyways, but so I love Harvest Moon, and my dad bought it for me, and I'm like very emotionally attached, I guess, to my father. And so because he did
that's not weird.
Well, the thing is like he did the research to try to find that stupid farming game for me. And looking back, that was like in the 90s, bro. Like, or the early 2000s and
shit. Like make
so
phone calls, ask around.
He had to ask around. He had to ask my cousins. He had to figure it out on his own, basically. And my dad's, like not the most technologically savvy person. So the fact that he went above and beyond for me, like, means a lot to me, right? So, anyways, my dad would play Diablo, and I would play Diablo with my dad and stuff. But when it was just me time on the fucking PlayStation 1, I was fucking mashing out Harvest Moon. I have easily over 100 hours. I have rebought that game and like the sequential like reiterations of that specific game. So Harvest Moon Cute, Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, Harvest Moon fucking Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. I have rebought Harvest Moon Back to Nature more times than I can count. Like, I would have to like take a moment and start counting how many times I have rebought that fucking game because I just love it so much. Basically, any universe where I can marry my sweetie Ellie, I'm in. I loved Ellie. Ellie was my favorite. She's the nurse, in case you didn't know. She's such a fucking sweetheart. Also, damn, I'm realizing this now, but Harvest Moon made me hella gay. Because you had to play as a boy, and at the same time, I'm like, I'm fine with being a boy. Also, gender identity dab. But then, I wanted to marry my beautiful wife, and I every single time I try to like potentially marry somebody else, but I always end up going right back to Ellie, dude, because I fucking love her. She's so cute. I love so many hours, and I've rebought like. They have so much of my fucking money, the Harvest Moon, like Natsume, fucking, who does the new ones? I think it's something C.
I don't know.
Yeah, either way. They have so much of my fucking money because I've rebought that game every single chance that I've got. Every single time.
Harvest Moon for me, like, I love life sims as well. I got into, the first Harvest Moon I played was for the PS2 one / GameCube one. I forget exactly which console it was or what it's called. I think it was
what were your romance novel options?
Bro, I was 12. I don't fucking know, dude. I remember
mine, bitch.
I just wanted to plant corn, bro. Like, I wanted to be like my grandparents because I played it a lot in Serbia. I was like, oh, I get to be a farmer, like, oh, and like all that shit. But since then, I haven't found a Harvest Moon I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed other life sims, but not Harvest Moon, and I'm waiting for one that'll captivate me like that again.
You should try Olive Town. I hear it's really good, but that's also Story of Seasons, which is like the newest iteration of Harvest Moon.
Is that the Switch one that recently came out? It didn't look that good to me. I don't know why.
I thought it looked cute, but I think honestly the one on the GameCube, I'm pretty sure that's A Wonderful Life.
Could be. I just remember it's like. The farm you start out at is very shitty. Like, it's muddied and it's like it's very like gray and brown. Like, I don't know. I just remember I fell in love with it, and I've enjoyed live sims since. Like one of my favorite live sims is what's it called? Oh, I forget it. The big hit.
Stardew Valley?
Yes, that one.
You're welcome.
I always like my mind always goes to Terraria, but I know it's not Terraria, and then I can't jump off of that. Like it's just
your brain's
Terraria.
just like it's this, and then it's like
it's
no,
like,
it's not
no,
that.
it's not.
Like, it's
but
this.
what if it is? You know?
I've been there before, but yeah, I looked it up, and the GameCube Harvest Moon was a Wonderful Life, where your options were
is it the same as the PS2 one?
Yes, they remade it for PS. They remade it for GameCube, and I also played the one on GameCube, and I married the lady at the chicken farm.
I don't think I married anybody, honestly. Like, keep in mind, like I was super young, so my English wasn't the best, right?
Wait, her name wasn't Potpourri; it was Muffy.
The Muffy put anyway.
It was Muffy. It was Muffy, and I think Karen, and then Cecilia were your three options.
I don't think I married anybody. I think I was just farming, bro.
I married Cecilia, and we had a beautiful young boy together. And I actually played the shit out of that game too. Like I got to end game where my son grew up and took over the farm.
Oh, I definitely didn't marry anybody that I didn't know. I didn't even know you could have kids. So, like I said, like so for me, I guess to people who don't know yet, English is not my first or even second language. Nope. So I learned a lot of it growing up with video games and like subtitles in movies and cartoons and anime. So I would play a lot of video games just not really knowing what was happening, but I was just having a good time because as a kid, you're a fucking idiot. You have fun with everything, right? So
just like me in the Japanese Harvest Moon, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but I was obsessed.
So in that sense, I guess I just never figured out how to give gifts or like really just I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to like feed my dog and plant corn, bro. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do, and that's all I did. I'm pretty sure I put in several hundred hours that summer into the game.
Well, that one was pretty pivotal too, because it was when they first went away from sprites. They weren't using sprites 3D anymore. It was 3D. Everything was 3D, and it was really cool. But can't believe you didn't even get married and have a. Well, that game was also kind of fucked up because if you got with Muffy and you had and your son would end up hating you and would leave the farm and you would just like die there alone. If you married Cecilia, who you're supposed to marry, who I picked, thankfully, because I thought she was cute and I knew that she would help me out and raise a beautiful family with me. Your son ends up growing up. He ends up loving you and loving your wife, and he takes over the farm when you die.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, I think her name is Karen, or was it? No, I think her name was Nami. I think it was Nami. Okay, well, either way, her kid ends up hating you and running away from home when it's like a teenager. Nami goes crazy and convinces the old guy in town to kill himself.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, it went super dark. A Wonderful Life was definitely not wonderful.
It's not so wonderful at all. Yeah.
Not so wonderful unless you married Cecilia, and then everything works out.
Bruh.
It was fucked up.
It was. Yeah, I don't remember any of that, so I don't think I got any of that.
You didn't get that far.
I just farmed, bro.
Bro, I went deep endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the old guy's wife wife dies because she like gets sick or something like that, and then Nami basically just like you should die too so you can be with her, and then he kills himself.
Yeah, all right, Romeo and Juliet, Jesus Christ.
And I love that it's still rated E for everybody. Complex themes of suicide.
To be fair, back then ratings weren't as strict. Like I'm pretty sure you could just tell. Like the developer could be like, yeah, no, it's this rating, and nobody was going to double check it, kind of situation.
Oh yeah,
especially considering if it's like from Japan, and like back then it was you were lucky enough to get a game, let alone you weren't going to deny it with ratings. Speaking about E for everybody, talk to me about Dynasty Warriors. I know you love Lubu, but why Dynasty Warriors 3? Because I haven't heard you rave about any Dynasty Warriors-esque game. Like you haven't played maybe any of them in like at least in the last 5 years, I want to say. Right? Like,
probably, yeah.
So Why is Dynasty Warriors 3 on our list specifically?
So when I was a kid, growing up, my eldest sister is like 7 years older than me. So it was basically like she had a boyfriend and everything like that. And so who's basically somebody that I affectionately call my brother now, because like he's been around. He used to pick me up from 6th grade, like after violin practice, he would come and pick me up from school. And they've been together basically most of my life. And I now rent a room from them, Lamau. So I just basically called Dave my brother at this point. And growing up, when we had a PlayStation 2, Dynasty Warriors 3 had a 2-player mode where you could basically grind through the story or just do a free play, and you could just do different battles and kill a lot of people. And I loved just being able, like, the hack and slash, like Musou style version of that specific Dynasty Warriors. And I remember just grinding countless hours into it. And one of the biggest things I loved about that specific Dynasty Warriors is that all my family liked playing it. So Gromora would play with me, and Jen would play with me, and Dave would play with me. So it was like a game that was 2-player that I could get almost like anybody to come and play with me at a drop of a hat. So I'd be like, oh, I want to go play Dynasty Warriors. And then they'd be like, oh yeah, let's go. Yeah, dude, that sounds like fun. Let's play Dynasty Warriors. And so we each had all our favorite characters that we used to love to play as and stuff like that. But then eventually when I literally maxed out my favorite character. And then so I moved on to the next one, and I maxed out that one, and I moved on to the next one, and I maxed out that one. And so I ended up just like almost everybody in that game was like fully leveled, because I just would move on to the next person and just be like, okay, I got to grind them up and get them like the best gear and shit. And everybody had a fucking red hair. If you're not familiar, that's Lubu's horse. It's the fastest horse in the game, and it's not fearful, so you can like ride it into like full battle of people and stuff like that. When you start off in the game, your character's not strong enough to ride red hair, because you have to be like, I don't know, your pussy has to be fucking strong to ride red hair, bruh. So you get like, a tan horse, and then eventually you can ride the black horse, and eventually the white horse. And then after you're done riding the white horse and you're high enough level, you can ride red hair. And red hair was awesome, because you could like literally run it through a crowd of people and just swing your sword wildly, and it wouldn't like buck up. It would just straight on through to the other side, bruh. So I was like super obsessed with the Dynasty Warriors 3. Easily 200 hours in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I played a lot too. I was just, curious. So I guess
you played Dynasty Warriors 3?
Yeah, I also played, like, I got into it with 2, and I played 4, and I think at 5, I kind of lost interest in Musou.
Yeah, I lost interest around 5 as well. I got 4, but I didn't like the outfits. Because every single Dynasty Warriors, they change up the outfits, and I didn't like the outfits in 4. Yeah. But I specifically with Gan Ning, if you're not familiar with who Gan Ning is, but he's like the pirate guy.
Oh, okay.
He's like the pirate. In the first Dynasty Warriors 3, he was shirtless, and you could see like his like rippling pectorals, and like, he would use like a big great sword, and then he would just be like really, really, he was just really hot. So I remember like being a kid, I'm like, wow, he's hot. But then also I think back to Harvest Moon and wanting a beautiful wife. So
duality of man.
Yeah, just big pansexual energy, bro. That's all I gotta say, man. Was cultivated at a very young age.
Right. So the one thing that stands out to me, no Zelda, no Mario, like none of that on the like kind of what you would expect from like nostalgia games, or I mean, not even nostalgia at this point, right? Like we still have Zelda games and Mario games and stuff like that being made fucking almost every year. Mm-hmm. Did you not play those? Do you not care for those series? Like, what up with that?
I didn't have a lot of Nintendo products growing up. I mean, I had a Game Boy, but I didn't really have like I think the next Nintendo product that I had after that was a GameCube that I bought myself. Sorry, I didn't buy it myself. My parents bought it for me, but I bought all the games for it, and because specifically I wanted to play the Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life. But I specifically bought a GameCube later, or got a GameCube later, but so then like I missed basically like the big heyday. And for the most part, when it came to my Game Boy, I was mostly playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
Specifically Pokemon Red. So I was never really a Nintendo kid, just straight up. And then if I was playing on a console, I was straight up playing on my PlayStation. I was not my PS1 or my PS2. Like I just didn't play I didn't play on my like Nintendo anythings very much. And if I was playing on my Nintendo GameCube, I see that you have Sonic Adventure Battle 2 on your list.
We're moving to my list. All right.
I mean, we can come back to mine, but at the same time, I saw that you have Sonic Adventure Battle 2, and I cranked on that fucking game too, bro. So the fact that you had that, super fucking hype. Did you play on the Dreamcast or did you play on the GameCube?
GameCube. Dreamcast wasn't really a thing in Europe. It wasn't like it had no I didn't know the Dreamcast existed until I was an adult. It just didn't get advertised, and I think a big part of it because it could go online, right? If you had that little stupid, did you have to buy an extension for it, or could it always go online?
No, you just could. Like it had like I'm pretty sure it just had an Ethernet port in it, and you could just plug that shit. So that's how my cousins played Phantasy Star. Yeah,
but like our internet infrastructure back then wasn't really a thing. So I guess they just decided like this is not going to be popular, and it's not a big deal now anymore. When it comes to like almost every console is like region free.
Yeah.
For people who didn't grow up in the 90s, you have several regions: NTSC and PAL, and that just corresponds to the electricity, the wavelength or frequency of your electricity, which translates to like screen flickering and stuff like that. A lot of video games just didn't get ported to Europe, just flat out. It was, or got ported like half a year later or a year later, or, you know, maybe the years down the road.
Yeah. Wow,
so
that sucks.
The Dreamcast just never, I knew nobody who ever had a Dreamcast or even mentioned one or anything like that. Like I never saw it in a gaming magazine. The Dreamcast just didn't exist in Europe, bro.
Bro, that fucking sucks, because I arguably will say this, and I will say it till the day that I die. The Dreamcast is one of the best consoles ever created. We failed the Dreamcast. We failed it.
I mean, it didn't get marketed anywhere, really, right? And
the marketing,
I think it was ahead of its time with internet. I think that was a big portion of it.
Revolutionary.
But the controller was like, bro.
Dude, I fucking love the controller, bitch. It looks just like a fucking Xbox controller, and I love the Xbox controller because it feels great in my Yowie hands.
Xbox,
yes,
like the OG, the big ass. Yes, I bring it back. Bro. Microsoft, if you're listening, bring it back. Third party, somebody bring this shit back.
Bro, look at the old Dreamcast controllers, and then look at the fucking the Xbox, the original Xbox controllers. They're literally very similar.
Yeah, but it's still like for the average consumer market, it's weird looking, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, it was sick. The idea of VMUs and being able to take your shit on the go and being able to play video games like on like basically like a Tamagotchi that you could take with you places was sick. Dude,
yeah, like I said, like it was ahead of its time with a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And the infrastructure just wasn't ready for it. And then the marketing department kind of also really failed because it's hard to market like that you have internet when most of your install base doesn't have internet at home, right? Like the US didn't really have internet everywhere when the Dreamcast came out, as opposed to like, let's say Japan.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of hard to market that as a feature when you're like, well, I don't know what this intro web thing is. So
that's true. But man, the Dreamcast was fucking amazing. I still have my Dreamcast. I love my Dreamcast. But yeah, Sonic Adventure Battle 2, good pick. I bought that game both on Dreamcast and I bought it again on the GameCube because I really liked it.
I love Chow Gardens.
Yes.
That's like, so I guess, I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast. I definitely told it on stream before. I loved Chow Gardens so much. And the way they worked with raising your Chow, which were, you could feed them certain items, which would like boost certain stat growth, like speed and whatever. but it would only take effect after you beat a level.
Oh.
So I got so good at City Escape that I could do it in like under 2 minutes.
Speedrunning champion right there, bro.
I no, genuinely, like later on when YouTube existed, I looked it up, and I did actually hold the world record unknowingly for a time, because I was just like, gotta raise my child, bruh. So like I would just speed run that level over and over and over again, just so they would like promote growth and stuff.
Bro, but at the same time, you would have loved it on the Dreamcast because you could do Chow Garden on your VMU. So you could just be in the car doing Chow Garden shit.
Yeah, but I didn't go anywhere. I was playing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle all day. Where the fuck am I gonna go?
Well, at the same time, it's like I would always get dragged to my aunt's or my uncle's house, and so like being able to take it on the go was actually like really fucking sickening.
Yeah, no. So for me, my school, my middle school, I guess, was literally around the corner from where I lived. Like I could go home during recess, like if I wanted to, right?
They let you leave campus?
I mean, they didn't have to know about it.
I was about to say, like, what kind of fucking serial killer Eastern European school did you fucking go to where they just let you leave? They're like, oh,
I mean, they didn't let me leave, but it's like it's around the corner. I'll be back in time, right? Because we're all out on the playground. Like they won't spot me.
They don't have somebody monitoring like the gate?
Oh no! So because our middle school was in a very weird location. It had one building, and then right next to us, there was another building for special education, and then they moved. So we got that building as well. So our classes our grades were split. I think like 1 through 4 was in one building, and 5 to 8 was in the other. But in between those two buildings, we had a fucking church. So our playground, what a lot of people would go to, was the church area to play soccer. So we just didn't have enough teachers like monitor like 2 buildings and essentially like 3. Like we didn't have a gate, right? Because the church needs to be accessible. So you could just walk off, and there was no one that could stop you.
That is insane. That is not how that is here.
If you ever visit, I'll show you my middle school. And I'll show you exactly where I lived.
Okay.
So you can, because it's kind of hard to describe, but yeah. So going home, I didn't need to bring to play it anywhere. And if I was going to like Paul's place or something, guess what he was playing, bro? Sonic Adventure Battle 2. So it's like it didn't matter. I never had. If anything, maybe I would use that time to like play my Game Boy, right?
Yeah, I'm also like noticing on your list you have a lot of newer titles. All of mine are pretty old. Like they're pretty old, but I noticed that you have some newer titles like Hollow Knight, Slay the Spire, and Sekiro.
Yeah. Because for this list was actually pretty hard for me. Like for example, I love Pokemon, but I don't know if I have a favorite Pokemon game that I love so much more than the others. So I just decided to like leave Pokemon off of it.
Pokemon Red, bruh.
Yeah, maybe. Like I think Pokemon Black and White 2 is my favorite, but I've only played it once, so it's like kind of weird to then call it your favorite when I've put hundreds of hours into like Crystal and Silver and Red and Yellow and all that shit. Slay the Spire honestly is on there. I have over 1,000 hours in Slay the Spire, bro.
1,000?
Yeah, I think I'm at like 1,000, like 18 hours or something.
Well, I remember like when I would be signed into Steam and stuff, your little fucking icon would be like, he's playing Slay the Spire right now. But
I played it like an hour before the podcast.
You're still playing Slay the Spire?
Yeah, dude. Like I'll take a break sometimes. Like I took a break for like 6-7 months, but because the thing about Slay the Spire is you can boot up the game and you can do a run in like half an hour. And then you're done, right? It's just very quick pick up and play. It's a deck building roguelite for people who aren't familiar with it. Highly recommend if you're into that. Hollow Knight is pretty new, yeah. Newish, right? Like last 5 years.
I'm like, yeah, and you just like recently played it on stream, so same with Sekiro. Like those two titles like fucked so hard that they just dumpstered on your nostalgia.
I mean, Hollow Knight, I already played when it came out. I replayed it on stream.
Okay.
I'm not. Metroidvanias for me are very hit or miss. Like I don't like the original Metroid. I don't like. I bought the GameCube Metroid, whichever one that was, 2 or 3, whatever the fuck. I returned it. I thought it was dog shit, and that's a hot take for today. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. I just thought the controls were shitty. So
yeah, if you agree or disagree with Milan, be sure to leave a comment below that's mean and scathing towards him, but not me because I have good taste. Go on.
So Metroidvanias for me are very hit or miss. So and Hollow Knight is fucking amazing. I can't wait for Silksong. Right, I'm probably gonna. I considered doing like Hollow Knight, not speedruns, but like randomizers and stuff like that after I beat the game because I just wanted to play more. I actually off stream beat the game again right after I finished streaming it. Like I just sat down and I just played it again.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know. I just love it. The art style, the movement, the fluidity. It's just great. And yeah, Sekiro, it's similar to the Pokemon issue where it's like I love Soulsborne. Like I love all the Dark Souls. I love Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. But looking back on it, I probably enjoyed Sekiro the most, and I can't pinpoint why. Like I think because it has more that of like a rhythm game feel, and you know me and rhythm games, I love that shit.
Yeah, but also you're a filthy weeb, and it's Japanese themed.
I generally don't care about that. Like,
okay.
I am a filthy weeb. I will admit to that, but that plays no decision in the gameplay, right? I would say very like one game on here I enjoy because of the story, and that's Suikoden 2, right? I enjoy the whole package, but you know, this is a pretty far removed weeb 3x3, like what? 3 games, 3.5, depending on how you look at Guilty Gear.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. Like, man, I just love watching you play on stream because I love those cook-offs, dude. Those cook-offs like brought me so much fucking life, and I'd get hype, and then like, who was that one asshole that kept fucking us over constantly?
Oh, fucking
Klaus,
no,
something like that.
Not Klaus. Fuck, I forgot his name. Freed Y.
Freed, yes. I remember it was like Freed, something like that. Freed, yeah. He kept fucking us over. Asshole, piece of shit.
So we fucked his wife.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I
mean, related to the cook-offs, because they hit the goal on Kickstarter, they're going to be back in
Nice. Okay, sick. So when you play on stream, I'll be hype as fuck. Those cook-offs, I just got hype as fuck.
Yeah, and I imagine they're going to be, because the music was hype as well, and the animations were great, sure. and I imagine they're going to up the production of it.
Oh yeah, bro, I can't wait. I'm really excited for that. But well, also looking at your list, we have an overlap on one title, so I wanted to Guilty Gear X2 specifically.
Yeah, Midnight Carnival #reload. Back then when titles were long and convoluted. So same as Sonic Adventure Battle 2. And I think it had like an additional title for like the GameCube, like the additional subtext, right?
Yeah. Also, it's Sharp Reloaded.
It's Pound, if you want to be technical.
No, it's actually Sharp. It's Sharp Reloaded.
Yeah,
because it's a music reference.
Musical, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time.
Because that's when they introduced Eno, I think, to the game.
Yes. Yeah. So I played the shit out of that. Actually, not my first Guilty Gear, to be honest. My first Guilty Gear was actually Guilty Gear Iska, which is the one where you had to like manually turn yourself around. But I played, again, the shit out of that with my eldest brother. I loved Iska specifically, too, because there was a co-op mode where the two of you would kill the different characters and stuff like that, and you could do a co-op battle like against somebody, and then but either way, and then like the last character that you fought was like Neopoline.
I didn't really do co-op mode, so I guess to my Guilty Gear X2 was my first one for the OG Xbox.
It's a good one. Yeah,
Paul and I played the shit out of it.
Hell yeah.
Like we were like number 1 on the Xbox Live leaderboard. Doesn't really mean much because not everybody had Xbox Live or even an Xbox, but still an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And then I went back and played Guilty Gear 1, which is imbalanced as shit.
Oh, yeah,
and then
broken.
Because damage, like Chip would do less damage than because he was a smaller character, shit like that. I also loved Isuka a lot. And also, I remember when I visited, I played it with you.
Yes,
that was one of the first things we did.
Yeah, we're like,
I came to your house. You were like, what do you want to do? You want to play Guilty Gear? Like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, and then my dad came home, and then I was like, oh, I need to introduce you to my dad. My bad.
Oh, no. I mean, that's not how the story went. I don't know if we want to dox that story.
I think you showed up and my dad was already there, right?
So
did you show up at the same time?
No. TLDR, you weren't allowed to have boys over.
Yeah, I wasn't.
So I visited while your parents were away, and your dad was about to come home, so you were walking me back to the bus station. And then he pulled up into like the neighborhood, whatever it's called, a little bit. So obviously at that point, it's like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. And I remember it very specifically. I'm not gonna
my dog.
No. I mean that's later, but like the introduction to your dad. I'm not gonna dox it here. I don't have the friendliest English last name. So as a teenager, I was very self-conscious about it, and I assumed because we were quote unquote caught red-handed, right? I was not allowed to be there. He didn't know I existed.
Yep.
and then I felt like he's probably gonna think I'm taking the piss with my last name, right? That kind of situation. And then when I met Lance, your dog, it was also just. I fucked me, dude. That will haunt me to the rest of my life. I crouched down to pet him, and as I was reaching over, your dad was there like, "Hey, don't pet him yet. Let him sniff you first." And that was still registering in my head because I like English and translation, and I pet him anyway. And then inside I would fuck, you know.
So funny, dude.
Yeah. But your dad was super cool. He was like super nice, and he helped me out. Like I remember I was staying at the motel. It was like, nah, that motel sucks. You're staying with us, like that kind of stuff. Like, your dad, super nice, amazing.
My dad's
dude.
a good dad. My dad's a good dude. He's a good dude. 22.
But yeah, we played a lot of Guilty Gear.
Yeah, we did. We played a fuck ton of Guilty Gear, and yeah, it was a good ass time. So yeah, I'm glad that literally like the overlap that we had was a Guilty Gear game, because that's one of the first things we did together when you came to visit.
I'm surprised we have the overlap because we didn't play X2. We played Isuka, right?
Yeah, I played Isuka. Yeah.
But I don't know, and I think Isuka is the better Guilty Gear. Like I love the turning around because so my main was always Baiken, but Chip was my secondary main. But so. For people who don't know, he has a lot of skills that teleport him around the map, like top right, but stuff like that. But people would just auto turn around, and I think in Isuka you could utilize that a little bit more. You could teleport behind the enemy, and then before they turn around, you could hit them. So I'm surprised that we have that overlap, TBH. That is the exact same Guilty Gear.
Yeah. Yep. Honestly, I'm pretty stoked about that. It's just because, it's like the thing that we did together when you first visited. Yeah. So
and,
I feel very smiley and happy.
I feel if the list was longer, we would have also overlapped with Sonic.
Yes. I probably would have put Sonic Adventure Battle 2 on mine as well, but again, mine would have been the Dreamcast version because I am a dirty Dreamcast slut.
They're the same version, right? Like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they're the same version, except you didn't get that fucking Chow Garden VMU takeaway. But other than that, it's pretty much the same.
I mean, technically, you could fucking the GameCube had a fucking carrying handle, so
This is true. It did have a carrying handle. Okay, the biggest thing that I want to fucking ask you about on your fucking list is what the fuck is Final Fantasy X doing there? Okay. Excuse you.
So all right. It was actually a debate internally. Should it be Final Fantasy X or X-2?
My God.
So, okay.
Both of those are bad options.
So, all right. And the reason why I picked 10 over X-2, the reason why I love X-2, let's start there. I love the sphere grid. Yes.
Yeah. Dress fairs.
I just love grinding jobs unnecessarily, the same way you did in Dynasty Warriors, the same way I did in Dynasty Warriors, the same I did in the Chow Garden, the same I did in every RPG. I just love job systems, and I love to unlock everything on everybody. And the dress sphere
He likes to grind.
Just allowed me to do that, right? And then I was like, but what else did I like about the game? I was like, fucking nothing, right? So, yeah. So, but in Final Fantasy X, for a similar reason, I love the sphere grid because you can grind and unlock the entire grid on every character.
Oh, yeah.
But more importantly, Blitzball. I have put in Blitzball alone. No kidding. I've put at least 200 hours just booting up the game and playing Blitzball for like 9 hours straight. And then
Blitzball is a duality, dude. You either
love it
or you don't.
Or you hate it.
I hated it.
So like I'll even go this far. In Final Fantasy X, there's a move for Blitzball called Check Shot.
Yeah, which I never got it. That's why I hated it.
I didn't get it the first time, and then I learned about it 30 hours in. Like, well, time to fucking reboot the game and get it. And I just started over because I wanted to be better at Blitzball, dude.
Bruh.
So Final Fantasy X just had a lot of grinding. The story was good. The music slapped. Auron Fox. I love 7, not as much as other people. I didn't play it. Like I watched Paul play through the entirety of it.
My first time I watched Jen play through all of 7, and then I played it on my own.
Yeah, I never played it on my own. Like the remake is my first time actually playing it myself. Like I know everything about 7. Like I've watched Paul play it from start to finish. So why would I play it myself, right?
I'm fucking impuggined right now.
I mean, yeah. I've watched the movies. I played Crisis Core. Like, I'm into 7.
Why would you play Crisis Core?
Because I had a PSP, bro. I didn't have any other games. What the fuck do you mean?
What are you talking about? You could play the fucking Metal Gear Solid for fucking PSP.
Yeah, I also played that. And what else?
It was really good. The fact that it had that Monster Hunter crossover too.
Oh yeah, they did.
Peace Walker.
Shit.
Peace Walker.
Shit, Monster Hunter is on this list.
It's also not on mine. Honorable mention, Monster Hunter.
But thinking about it, like maybe instead of Dota 2, maybe I should have put a Monster Hunter on there. That would have made sense. But oh well. Yeah. I put a lot of hours in Dota 2 as well, and I still watch it to this day. So
yeah. No, I feel that. Honorable mentions, Monster Hunter, specifically World for me. Like World was like a really like. I played the previous Monster Hunters, but I think I just have bad associations with them at this point because.
World made everything more accessible as well. Yeah, right? It allowed us to play it together, and it was just a lot easier. Mm-hmm. I would probably put Try on mine if I had to pick one. I love World more, but Try got me into it. Mm-hmm. I've put like 600 hours into Try. That really opened up the Monster Hunter floodgates for me.
Yeah, bruh. Yeah, honorable mention. Sad that he also didn't make it on my list. I guess if I had to take one out. I'd probably remove Power Stone 2.
Makes sense, yeah.
I put Power Stone 2, and then I would remove that and put Monster Hunter World. Because Monster Hunter World, I have a lot of hours in that, and specifically playing with you and getting to play with like Gromora and like a bunch of like friends and stuff like that really made Monster Hunter just so much fun. My previous Monster Hunters, like I said, I have a bad association because of my ex Dab. But
I'm the opposite, right? Like my Monster Hunters, I always play solo first. To get that experience, that feel, and then I play with people. So in that sense, Try is objectively no different than World. Even though, again, World and stuff is better. But Try, I just played for like 500-600 hours just by myself.
Oh yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Yeah, I guess I would get rid of Power Stone 2, though I love Power Stone 2. I again played the shit out of Power Stone 2 on my Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Most of my titles are kind of Dreamcasty for the most part. Not all of them, but Power Stone 2, Grandia 2. I also played the fuck out of Gauntlet Legends. Can I get an honorable mention for fucking Gauntlet Legends, specifically on the Dreamcast? I love Gauntlet games. I bought the one for PC, but I haven't played it just quite yet. But I really, really want to because I fucking love Gauntlet Legends. I love co-op games. I love getting to play with friends. I'll still grind on single player whatever games. I've got a fair amount of single players on my list and stuff, but I just love co-op. Co-op is so much fun.
It's true. Like fucking, if a game has co-op, your nipples are like immediately diamonds, bro. Like,
bruh. Well, yeah, because I started
those
thinking
two
about like
words
who
are
I can
like,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no, dead ass. I go 6 to midnight, baby. I just
Yeah.
love like co-op games are just so much more fun. Like if you can share the joy with somebody else, like I don't know, it just makes the experience even better. And you know, like you have that banter and that back and forth and stuff like that. But you know, I can sit there and I can play games alone too. It feels good too.
Yeah,
It feels good for me
honestly,
too, bro.
for me, it depends on the game, right? Like, I would never want like fucking Suikoden co-op. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do, right? You know what I mean? Like,
No, I mean it has to be in the game as
exactly.
a mechanic.
Like, and you know, co-op games are amazing, but you can't do it for every category. So it's and also for me, it depends on how much I love the game. If I love it too much, I don't want to wait for the other person. Like, you know, like I want to play, you know?
Yeah,
And
I can see it.
This isn't like a call out or a drag, but that's kind of what happened with us, right? You were like, I can't play for a month. Like, all right, I'm still going to play though. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's literally what happened with the latest Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, but
Exact
with
same
World
thing.
specifically, and then when you were able to play, I just made a new character so we could go through content together, and then I would just switch to my main, so I wouldn't be carrying you. But it's just kind of so it really. If I love a game too much, like sometimes I'll be like, man, I really wish I didn't start this co-op because I want to keep playing, and the other person isn't available at these times or for the next week or two. It's like fuck, you know, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, also love that you have Wind Waker on your list. I love Toon Link, so I'm.
Wind Waker is my favorite.
Yes.
Like I
Yes!
love Breath of the Wild, like a lot. I put a lot of hours into it. If you remember, I was very depressed during that time, and Wind Waker got me a little bit out of depression for like 2 weeks while I was playing it. I literally, I couldn't get out of bed, but I was able to like play, not Wind Waker, sorry, Breath of the Wild for like 12 hours a day, like easy. Like I was just excited to play. But if I think about it, Wind Waker is easily my favorite. I've beaten the game like 4 or 5 times. I've 100%ed it. I used to love watching speedruns of Wind Waker.
Yeah.
It's great. Like I haven't played the HD remake that came out for like the Wii U. But yeah, no, I fucking love Wind Waker. It still holds up. The graphics also hold up. Like great, amazing game. Love it.
Yeah,
easily my favorite Zelda game.
Because of the art style, like it just ages well.
Yeah, and also what felt like for the first time they gave Link character.
Yes, he wasn't just like fucking Gary Stu.
Yeah, and Tetra is an amazing Zelda. She has, you know, spunk. Love Tetra.
Yep, agree. And then that's why I really did like the handheld Zeldas with Toon Link. And I know a lot of people don't like them and they hate on them, but I really liked Phantom Hourglass. I really liked Spirit Tracks.
Yeah, I couldn't get it. I couldn't get into either. I thought I was gonna love it based on Wind Waker, but I just couldn't get into it.
I was super into them because of Wind Waker. So, but there you go. That's where we're fucking divided, I guess.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people are like that. Like I think if they were on the GameCube, I would have loved them. I just probably didn't like the handheld gimmick or like the 2-screen setup.
Yeah, the 2-screen setup, and there's like a couple puzzles where you're like have to fucking like 4D
close your
chest
DS
yourself
or blow into it. Yeah,
blow into it. Yeah,
and that's clever. In general, I never liked using the stylus. Is I guess my issue with most DS games. Like I like using the stylus for like Phoenix Wright and stuff to like sometimes whip it out and like maybe tap the button.
I always used the stylus.
But in general, I'm just not a fan of touchscreen controls in general, I would say.
I was okay with the touchscreen controls, but I hate motion controls. God damn. I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah. I'm going to fucking hate Skyward Sword.
Oh, yeah.
Remake.
Gonna be a big fucking shitty time. I was never into motion controls, and to this day, I'm still not into them.
Yeah.
But
unless they're in VR, but that's a little bit different than motion, right?
I don't fucking have a VR, so I can't relate, bro.
I mean, I don't have it either, but Paul does, and another friend does. So I've gotten to try it plenty.
Paul, we coming over. I've got to play it like once with my cousin because my cousin's roommate happened to have VR, and then we played Don't Stop Talking and Anybody Explodes or the bomb game.
Yeah, love that game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I'm actually surprised you didn't flame me for my BioWare picks.
Just
glanced over them.
I mean, we did an entire episode with Crystal where it was the two of you versus me, and I think we all know at this point. I think Mass Effect is bad.
Good thing there's a nice, good legendary edition that Joe Venom just bought for me. Shout out Joe Venom.
That's also going to be equally bad.
Wow.
And Dragon Age is fine. I just never got into it. Like, I don't hate on Dragon Age specifically. Just wasn't my type of game.
Okay, I need to explain my love of Dragon Age right now because it is deep-seated in childhood lore for me. So growing up, my dad had a computer. And again, this is going to be a story where I tell everybody how great my dad is because he's great. My dad would play all the Baldur's Gates. Like he had Baldur's Gate 1, he had Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of On, and then he would get the DLCs and shit for them. He was obsessed with Baldur's Gate, right? And when I was a kid, I loved video games, but like the Baldur's Gate games were a little bit above my brain capacity and being able to function on them. Like I was able to play Diablo 1 with my dad, like
the hack and slash versus like full on tabletop RPG.
Tabletop RPG. So what I would do is I would literally get a chair and I would set it up next to my dad and I would watch him play. And he would play, you know, the speakers and stuff over there. And my dad's a really fast reader. And I think that's why I learned to be such a fast reader too, is because my dad's a wicked fast reader. So I would have to, if I wanted to glean the story and what was happening in the story, I'd have to read as fast as he did. Because he would just move on. Like he did not give a fuck that I was sitting in this chair watching him playing because he was just gonna play regardless.
He wouldn't make a good streamer. He would just like keep up or get left behind, bitch.
Exactly. That's pretty much. And then so I used to sit down. I would pull up a chair, literally like a little fold-out chair, and I would sit on the chair and watch my dad play Baldur's Gate for hours. If he was playing Baldur's Gate, I was watching him play Baldur's Gate. Like I was obsessed. I wanted to know what was happening, what was going on with the stuff, with like man, like is Minsk gonna be okay, and like all this other shit. So I was like obsessed. So when Dragon Age came out, I was like, holy shit, mega poggies! This is Baldur's Gate because it's made by BioWare, and BioWare just came out and they're just like, yeah, this game, Dragon Age, is an ode to Baldur's Gate because we love Baldur's Gate. And so I was like, oh fuck, now I can finally play Baldur's Gate. So because, and so I was really obsessed with Dragon Age specifically because I was like, yes, I'm finally playing the game in which my dad would play, and I used to watch him, and so now I'm like obsessed. So that
makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
I told you. 99% of my picks are nostalgia picks. I think my one that's kind of not, I guess, is, it's still, I would say Final Fantasy 12, but at the same time, I picked 12 over 7 because 12, I was literally like engrossed and incredibly obsessed with the story. I would get out of high school, I would run home, and then I would just fire up Final Fantasy 12, and then I would play until I had to go to bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, you were, they didn't have a sphere grid in 12. They had an augment board, but it was the same thing. It was just chessboard shaped rather than
the gamma
grid,
system
like
and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly. So I was like deeply obsessed with just maxing out my character. What I ended up doing is that I ended up like hella getting Bosch to the point where he was just like incredibly powerful, and then I spec'd into I got the fucking gambit, the thing on the augment board that made it so that he could do unarmed strikes, basically like he was using a weapon, and then I punched the final boss to death with Bosch because he was my favorite character. I fucking love Bosch to this day. Bosch lives. I'm Bosch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca. Like I fucking loved Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that are like, I don't like Final Fantasy 12. I'm like, bitch, you don't like fucking Star Wars? It's Star Wars.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah, bitch, you don't fucking like Star Wars? And you probably don't like Star Wars.
No, exactly. I don't. I don't like Star Wars. We've literally had this carbon copy conversation on podcast before.
For sure. But I'm just saying, there are people out there that don't give 12 a fair shot, and it's bullshit because they're just like, oh, well, yeah, they're like, oh, Star Wars is one of the greatest sci-fi fucking stories of all time. And it's like, then why don't you like Final Fantasy 12, bitch? Because it's Star Wars.
For me, I just
Star Wars.
I couldn't get into all the characters, and I didn't like the gamut system.
You could turn them off, and then it would turn.
Yeah,
you
but
could literally
it doesn't
toggle,
make it better.
You could literally toggle
It doesn't
off
make
gambits.
it better.
Bitch.
I tried that too. I tried the game 3 times. I've put maybe collectively like 30 hours into the game collectively.
Bitch.
It just doesn't, and it's fine. I don't need to like every game.
And that's fine. You don't have to like every game, but the mist system was cool. How you could like link your different mist attacks, and everything was just like they were like quick time events. Like I don't know, I low key loved it. And then I was fucking obsessed with Final Fantasy 12, and to this day I still am. I still love 12. Give it a shot if you haven't picked up Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age. Check it out. If you like Star Wars, you'll like it. TBH. And if you don't like the Gambit system, literally turn it off, and then it becomes turn based.
Yeah, but the game is built around the Gambit system, so like it's not.
At the same time, they gave you an option to not have the Gambit system.
Yeah, because they knew most people wouldn't like it. Like It was an experimental thing, and they refined it since, right? Like in 15, even though I barely got to play 15 because the game was like fuck your PC. I'm like, all right, I guess. Yeah, but the Gambit system or the Gambit system to evolve, the reiterated upon was totally fine. It didn't bother me there. It was just. In 12, it was still very clunky, and I'm glad they experimented with it and that they refined it. Like in 7, it's also perfectly fine and stuff like that.
I love Final Fantasy 12. Give it a try, everybody. That's all I got to say. Also, play Grandia 2. Basically, pieces of God get put onto the earth, and you have to kill them systematically. And if that's not black metal, I don't know what is.
Maybe. How long is Grandia 2? How long does it take to beat?
I don't know, maybe like 30, 40 hours, something like that.
So maybe you beat the game start to finish for your subathon, eh?
40 hours, bitch?
I mean, listen, why not? Speedrun that shit, bro. Do it in 20.
I don't think you can speedrun it, because there's a point at the end where you really have to grind in order to get to the final boss. And it's a big giant fucking labyrinth of lava.
But yeah, speaking though, subathon? Next week?
Oh, yeah. Next week I'm going to be doing a subathon. You can check it out. I'm going to try to stream on the 30th, or maybe not. I don't know. I'll post in Discord basically what the time is, but subathon. Come through. Twitch.tv/apothecary, and then hopefully we will like do the thing, and it'll be a good ass time.
Hell yeah. Subathon, so I guess it's for your 1-year anniversary on Twitch.
Yeah, my 1-year anniversary on Twitch. It's going to be a good ass time.
Hopefully, yeah. But with that said, though, I think it's time we wrap it up. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about our 3x3s. If you're surprised by any of our picks, if you expected something different, or if you're like mad that a certain game didn't make it on there, let us know. And while you're down there, maybe give us a like, subscribe, hit that bell for more episodes. And if you enjoy what we do and you want to see us live, check out our Twitch links.
Yeah, but also play Grandia 2. Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'll be your host, Milan, signing off, and joined by my lovely co-host, as always,
Kelly. Grandia 2.
Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.
Bye, Grandia 2.